All right, guys. So, welcome to Team Freestyle Build Strong Training. It is the 27th of August. And for those of you who think that I look really strange for Adam Westwick, my name is actually Ange Simpson. I've been in Juice Plus for almost a year and a half now. And it's definitely been the best year and a half of my entire life. Sorry, someone's trying to log into Adam's Zoom while I'm on it. But yeah, I've been asked to share tonight and I've been given free rein to talk about whatever I want. So I've got a couple of little things that I thought I would share with you guys that I seem to get asked a lot since my team, the Gratitude Gang, won Team of the Year at conference. I get the same question over and over again. So I'm going to address those things and tell you guys a little bit about my story, but I'm just so honored to be here and have you guys spend some time with me. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. So I got into Juice Plus a year and a half ago, and I was actually a customer first. So when Adam and Kira say, you know, sometimes your best distributors come out of being customers, it is 100% true. I actually got onto the product because I had just had my second daughter, Harper, and I was suffering from a really bad bout of postnatal depletion. So I wasn't eating very well. I was obviously not sleeping. I was feeding and had mastitis. And when my daughter was a month old, I was like, all right, I'm done. I want to feel well. And I'd heard about the Juice Plus products before, but I had never taken them because I ate enough fruits and veggies and I was super healthy because prior to this, I worked as a health coach and thought I knew everything about nutrition. But I knew where there was a gap and I knew I definitely needed to fill that gap. And I did my research and Juice Plus was definitely the number one product that I could find. And so I rang up Kira. I was like, get me on the juice. And she brought it over to my house almost straight away because, you know, I was in a really bad place health-wise. And at first I was kind of taking it and thinking nothing of it. And then, you know, I just started to see the small changes. My initial story was definitely not one of, you know, massive change. It was, I just had a bit more energy. My skin cleared up. I just felt better. But what really got me and what I'm really passionate about is the business and the opportunity that we all have. And personally with this, a side of my story that I don't share too often is, you know, we initially, before joining Juice Plus, we retired my husband. So we really wanted to have a life where he was home. He's at the moment putting one of my daughters to bed. We wanted to co-parent. We didn't want him working in the stressful job he was in. You know, he was never around. We were fighting all the time. He was attached to his phone. And so we retired him before this. And then we just saw that running a business with my health coaching, with my other online business, was then dragging me down. And another thing was, as I looked into the future of my health coaching business, what I saw was if I wanted to grow and have the earning potential that would give us the life that we really craved, I would have to get staff. I would probably have to go into like making product and having warehouses and, you know, a lot more sort of expenses and a lot more stress. And a part of me wants a simple life. You know, I didn't want to have staff. And when I look at this compared to owning a traditional business or working for someone, and I think about the earning potential, the reason I'm so passionate about it is because for me to create that kind of income in my own business, I would have to sacrifice a lot. I would have to sacrifice time. I would have to pour money into it in the first place. I would have to sacrifice time with my kids, or I was sacrificing time with my kids, and, you know, all of these things that I really didn't want to do. And then I look at it from the point of being an employee, like my husband was at the time. He worked for a really large motor yacht company and made good money. But, you know, if he had gotten up to the earning level that we really wanted to get to, they would have replaced him because he would have been making too much money and they would have been able to find someone to do it cheaper. So for us looking into this and seeing what Adam and Kira had created, it just made so much sense. And I'm so glad we did. I don't do health coaching anymore. My kids are always running around. My team will know that they're always on calls with me. They're always, you know, hanging out at my feet or, you know, sitting on my lap while I'm doing things. And it's the best thing ever. So I'm super passionate about the business side, obviously, but I also love the product and had my own really incredible experience with it, which, you know, I think is equally as important for some people. But what I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight, and of course, if you guys have any questions or want to hear about anything in particular, please just put like a comment in the box. I'm so happy to talk about anything. I've kind of got a little agenda, but you know, these trainings are so for you guys. So I want to serve you however I can. But the one question I get all the time since conference is, how do you attract team? How do you attract so much team and good team? Because, you know, I think that's definitely been a bit of a skill for me, is that I'm good at attracting people that are really heart-centered and that want something better for their life. And so that's the question I often get. And I'm going to take you guys kind of step by step through some things that I've noticed in what I've done. And, you know, first of all, from what you sort of portray to the outside world, and then to how you connect with people and with all heart, as my t-shirt says. So the first thing I think that you want to think about when you're thinking about attracting people is, who is it that you're trying to attract? And I would never say no to someone in the gratitude game. You know, we have men, we have girls that are in their early 20s, we have women that are in their 60s. You know, there is literally, like, we do not discriminate. Whoever wants to come in can come in. But I think on a personal level, it is really thinking about, who do I want to attract and why? And I know that for me, you know, the people that I love to work with are young mums who have been in the corporate profession a little bit, but really don't want to go back to work because they want to spend more time with their kids. They don't want to have to put them into daycare at 4 months old or do anything like that. So, sorry, I'm just going to mute you guys. You know, that's kind of my passion. And the reason that I'm passionate about it is because I've been really lucky that I've had the time with my kids to watch them grow up and to really be a part of their lives. And I've also seen people really close to me not be able to have that, and I've seen how hard it is. So for me, it's a really heart-centered passion to help those women. And I think that when you know who you want to help, and you know, Brian Marsh speaks so beautifully about creating your vision and about creating what it is that you want. And I think that that is so important, and also figuring out why you want to help certain people, you know, what it means for you. Because I know that for me, on the days that I'm tired and I don't want to show up, I show up for those girls, because that's equally as important that they get what they want as much as I get what I want. So I think the first step is definitely figure out, who am I trying to attract and why? The second thing, and Jess kind of touched on this, so we might double over in some of her information, but I'm going to try and make it fresh. The second thing you want to do is look at what you're putting out into the world, either in person or online, right? So, you know, a question that I often think of when I think about, you know, team and bringing people on is, do people trust you? And I love that. I think it's Kira said, you know, this business will pay you for the person you were in the years before you started it. So I was really lucky that I had an online business and I had been giving value for a while, but sometimes it's going to take a little bit longer to kind of build up that trust. And I think it's so important that, you know, you show people that you're someone who wants to give a lot of value and that you're really heart-centered. So if that's online, you know, maybe it's just being someone who gives, you know, positivity, and maybe you do a post about gratitude, or, you know, maybe you just check in on people, or do a post where you just let people know, you know what, if you want to talk about anything, or if you just need an ear, I'm here for you. You know, build that trust if you haven't had it in the past. I think that that's super important. The next thing you want to look at when you're sort of, you know, thinking about what you're putting out into the world is, are people curious? And do people know that I have something to offer? And I think that this was such a big thing for me because, you know, at the beginning of this, I dipped my toe in. So I wasn't all in. I know that Adam and Kira were extremely frustrated with me, and it actually wasn't until game plan last year that I was like, all right, I'm doing this. I'm not half-assing it anymore. I'm sorry for people with kids for saying a rude word, but, you know, I decided, I was like, okay, this can be something great. I don't remember exactly what it was at game plan, but it was something where I just went, okay, this is for me and I'm going all in. And, you know, one thing that I hadn't been doing prior to that is I didn't kind of give people the opportunity to see what was going on and to see that I had something to offer. So I think when it's, you know, when you're in person with people, are you letting them know about your awesome side hustle and the connection that you've had from it and the way that you get to learn things that you would never learn, or talk to people that you would never speak to, or go to these awesome events like Game Plan, which I hope you're all coming to? You know, is that something that you're talking to people about in everyday life? You know, are you using your products in front of people? And then on social media as well, of course, like if someone goes to your page, do they know what you do? Do they know that you have something to offer? And I think that it's definitely worth everyone here just, you know, taking a minute, either now or after this, to just look at your page and say to yourself, you know, if I didn't know me and I went to my social media page and had a look, would I know what I did? Would people know that you have a health program you can plug them into? Would people know that you work from home sometimes? Would people know that you have something that could definitely help them? You know, ask yourself if that's something that is in what you're portraying out to the world. I think that that's super duper important. And then the last thing that I always like to think about when, you know, posting and talking to people is the one question I asked when Kira was presenting this to me is, can I do what you do? Because I was all like, I can't ruin my business. I can't let what I've worked for the last 5 years go down the drain because I'm joining a network marketing company. Oh my goodness. You know, so you have to ask yourself what you're doing. Do you think that people would be attracted to wanting to do that? Does it seem like something they can fit into their lives? Because if we're honest, most people who get into this business are doing it in stolen moments. They're doing it while they're working. They're doing it with kids. They're doing it as busy people. So if they were to look at what you're doing in person or online, can they do what you do? Can you guys just let me know if my internet's okay and if you can hear me? Because I can see there's some comments. So thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, good. We're good. Thanks, guys. Are you getting any value from this so far? Is this helping? Is this what you guys want to hear about? Do you want to hear about anything else? Just let me know in the comments, but I'm just kind of rolling you through my strategies when it comes to attracting people and how I like to do it, I guess. So first thing, ask yourself who you want to attract and why. The second thing is look at what you're putting out to the world. Do people trust you? Do people want to know what you know? Are people interested in what it is you're doing? Are they curious? Would they know what it is you do or that you have something to offer? And then can they do what you do? Those are sort of the three questions that I would be asking myself personally if you're thinking I want to attract more people and more people that you're excited to work with. You know what I mean? So those are my three questions. The next thing, you know, when you're looking at all that and you've kind of done the posts and you've spoken to people about things and you're really, you know, attracting or at least getting curiosity from the right people, the next thing that I come up, I call them the 3 C's. And this is the 3 things that I want to be when I'm talking to people. And I love how Linda talks about, you know, wearing your hats. I was super nervous to get on here tonight. You can probably tell I am. My voice is shaking a little bit. I'm probably talking way too fast. I'm probably rambling a little bit. But when I got on, I was like, I got to put my Boss Babe hat on. I've got to put my Kira Westwick hat on because I can't get on here and be shy and be quiet and all of those things. But, you know, in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's going to be like 300 people on here. And what if I mess up and I'm not going to be as good as Adam and Kira and I'm following after Jess Shembri and she's so awesome? And what if I suck and everyone logs off? But I couldn't have that hat on. I had to put on my Boss Babe Kira Westwick hat. So that's what I did. But the 3 things I think when I'm talking to people and I want to show them what it is we do, or I think that this could be something that could help them, 3 words, and I want you guys to write these down, is I want to be confident, which is what I'm pretending to be right now. I want to be certain and I want to be charismatic. So obviously confidence, because do you think that someone is going to want to join your team, your gang, your crew, if you're presenting yourself in a really nervous, kind of unsure way? I don't think so, personally. I think that people are really attracted to confidence, and I think that people really want to see that you believe in what you do. And I know that, we often talk about the 4 legs of the table, the 4 legs of belief in the product, which is super important. And we have so many resources when it comes to the product. We have so many testimonials. We can all jump into Freestyle and look at them and see how this product has changed so many people's lives. Belief in the industry of network marketing. And if you haven't watched Rise of the Entrepreneur or Jim Rohn, How to Build Your Network Marketing Business, then those 2 videos, Adam and Kira, before I joined, they were like, you got to go watch this first. And those 2 videos was something that I had to watch over and over again because my belief in the industry was low, and that was affecting my confidence when talking to people. Belief in the company. For me, that was really easy. Like, I went to the Juice Plus website and I searched for their values. Most companies will post their values on their website, and their values were so in alignment with mine, longevity, simplicity, just things that to me made a lot of sense. So my belief in the company was great. My belief in the product was great. Network marketing I had to build on. Now I'll scream it out loud and proud from the rooftops. And then the last belief is belief in yourself. And I do find that usually this is the belief that holds a lot of people back. But, I often say I love Robin Sharma. He's, just Google him on YouTube, Robin, and his last name is Sharma, S-H-A-R-M-A. If someone wants to type that in the chat, because I'm sure people are going to ask for that again. But he's great, and he said once, and I actually had some notes on some more stuff he said, but these days, having focus is more valuable than having intelligence, because we have so much knowledge and there's so much that we can be distracted by. So if we're kind of judging ourselves on our intelligence, it's not really a good measure, because at the end of the day, focus is so much more important. And there are so many people who know a lot less than you, who are doing better than you because they spend focused time. But I'm going to go into that a little bit more a little bit later. So yeah, it's those 4 things, self-belief, product belief, company belief, network marketing industry is the best thing ever. If you have those 4 things, that's where confidence comes from. And you can definitely fake it till you make it. If you're talking to someone, and prime example right here, faking it till I make it. One day I will jump on this training and I won't feel nervous at all. I won't feel anything except for I'm here to completely serve. But sometimes you really just do have to show up and think about what the way you're presenting will mean to someone else. So for me right now, if I focus on me, oh my goodness, this value will have no training to you guys whatsoever. Like, you guys will literally be like, this is a waste of time. What is she babbling on about? But if I focus on what you guys can get from this, from me showing up confidently, you guys can receive so much more from me showing up in that way. So I think for all of you, when you think about, I can't be confident, I don't have self-belief, I don't have these things, think about what it means for the other person and not for you. Because when you're in that space of really just focusing on me, this is what I'm going to feel, this is how I'm going to not work out, this is how I'm going to screw up, you're taking focus away from the other person. And in our business, the other person is so important. It's so important that we can help other people, and you can't do that if you're just focused on how you're not showing up enough or how you're not good enough. So definitely work on those 4 pillars, and that's where confidence will come in. And the second C is certainty, which is definitely built upon confidence. So if you're not certain that this is a smart business move, and like I said before, if you're working in a job, you're probably not going to get paid as extravagantly as you could doing the same amount of hours in this, because again, they will replace you. Once you hit a certain income level, they're going to replace you because they'll find someone to do the job cheaper. So having that certainty around how smart this is, you know, when you're talking to someone, and you know, I know that we talk about it all the time, and Kira says, you know, if you're so rock solid on how great this product is, no one can shake you. No one can tear you down. No one can say anything about anything because you know what's true. You know what I mean? You know exactly what it is that this product can do for other people. That certainty radiates out of you into other people. So certainty, the second C, is so important when you are talking to people. And the last thing is you kind of want to be charismatic, right? You want to be able to talk to people and engage them. And if this is something that you don't feel like you're good at, practice. You know, I was not a good public speaker. I read books. I filmed myself on my iPad like years ago when I was getting ready to do my first speaking gig. I would have filmed myself 20 times doing the same presentation, and I worked on things like pitch, things like how my voice sounds. I worked on making sure that I was engaging and that I was charismatic. And we're all so judgmental of ourselves, but you know when you're on fire and you know the things that you need to do to be on fire. And I still listen to The Greatest Showman when I'm in a mood and I need to get on calls and I don't feel like showing up. I will still put The Greatest Showman on and dance around the house a little bit and kind of like get my energy going. And that's my pump up song. And my mood will go from kind of like monotone and kind of lazy and kind of not really talking in a way that's very engaging. You know, if someone was doing a prospect call to you and they were talking like this, would you want to join them? No, excuse my French again, but no, you wouldn't want to join them, but you would want to join this person, right? Like the excited person. You would want to join the person who was engaging you and telling you with excitement about what it is that they're up to and what it is that this could be for them. So the 3 C's when you're talking to people: confident, certain, and charismatic. That is up on my board. That is something I look at all the time, and I make sure, like Linda with her hats, I make sure that I show up as not a different person in those situations, because I know where my heart is when I'm talking to people about this business, but I make sure I show up as the best version of me. And I think that that's really important for all of you to hear. You know, I think that we often talk about, you know, showing up as your inner boss babe and your Linda and your Adam, if that's your cup of tea. But, you know, sometimes it's okay to just show up as the best you. Because I know that I personally can't be Adam, I can't be Linda, I can't be Kira. I can definitely pretend and I can definitely use it in these moments when I have to stand on a training for an hour. But if you're doing calls all day, or if you're talking to a lot of people, or if you're at mum's group and you want to share your new business, you just need to show up as the best version of you. And this is something I use in my everyday life, you know, through parenting, through being a partner, just through being a good human being. You know, when I feel my bars going down and when I feel like I'm not showing up as a good person in the world, I just ask myself, what would the best version of me do right now? As a good friend, as a good mum, as a good wife, as a good daughter, as a good Juice Plus person, you know, what would the best version of me do right now? So I really encourage you guys to find that version of you. If you're struggling to sort of emulate other people, I still think emulating people is such a cool thing to do and such a good way to gain confidence in this business. But you're amazing and so unique in yourself that sometimes it's okay to just do you. Actually, pretty much all the time, it's okay to just do you. So I really encourage that with you guys as well. And we all have those C words. It sounds really bad. We all have the 3 C's in us. We've just got to bring them out. So that's kind of the next phase of, you know, how to attract people that you want to attract. I'm going to scroll down my notes. I feel like I'm losing my voice. I'm talking too much. It's only been like 20 minutes. The next thing that I thought I would kind of touch on a little bit, and then again, if you guys have questions, I'm so open to hear them. I'm doing Boss Babes training tomorrow as well. So please come on. I don't want to be sitting alone and have nothing to answer. So please come on that too. But the next thing I think, and this again ties into what I was just talking about, is, you know, how are you showing up not only to other people, but how are you showing up for yourself? Because I know that I definitely go through these ups and downs where I will be so on fire. I will be having my complete shake every day. I will be taking my Juice Plus. I'll remember my omegas because I forget them so much. And I will be so on fire. And it shows in my business. And then I go down, just like I'm sure you do, where I stop going for my morning walks. I stop taking my Juice Plus. I start eating food that I shouldn't eat. I order way too much Uber Eats. And it does affect other areas of my life. You know, when I'm not eating good food, I don't feel good in my body. And then, you know, I don't want to go out. I don't want to do things. My skin breaks out. All the things happen that make me feel like a bad version of me. Bad's probably the wrong word, but a version of me that I don't want to show up as. You know, I want to show up as the best version of me. But instead of allowing yourself to dip into that and stay in that place, you know, ask yourself, how would I show up? And again, how could I show up as the best version of me? You know, what would the best version of me do to get out of this funk right now and to help me become the person that I know lives inside me? So I think that that's really important is, you know, we can do all the things. How is there? Like, you guys know how to get team. There is like 2,700 trainings on it in freestyle. Like, they pretty much talk about it at every training. We know how to get team, like the practical steps. But we need to show up to really attract the people that we want to attract. And another thing, it's my inner hippie, Katrina Stark, is kind of coming out right now. But you can sit and, if you're into it, meditate on welcoming in the person that you want in your team or the people, and really opening up that energetic space where you're like, okay, you know what? These are the people I want to help. And it can take you a minute before you go to bed where you literally just visualize. I'm such a big believer in visualization, but you visualize those people coming towards you. Your arms are open and you're so ready to help them, and they're coming towards you, and they are going to be a part of your team. And whether they do a little or a lot, it's up to them, but you're welcoming them in either way. And the outcome is based on what's best for them. Every single phone call I have with someone, right before it, I do my little kind of preparation meditation where I say to myself, if this is going to be mutually beneficial, if this is going to help this person and help me to help them, let them say yes. Okay? So I don't want to push someone into it if this isn't going to be right for them, right? But I have the intention, and then I show up in the best way I possibly can to make sure that there's every opportunity for them to know this is for them. And I mean, on the other side of this, I think this is for everyone, but for some people, it's just not the right time. So having that little ritual before you get on a call where you just set the intention that if it's the right time for them, if it's going to benefit them, they will say yes, right? And if it's not the right time, maybe they won't say yes now, but maybe they will in a year and a half, like I did. It took a year and a half to say yes to this. So showing up for yourself. And then I wanted to talk a little bit, I'm kind of the opposite of Jess. I feel like Jess had like so much content. I'm like, I'm running out of content, but I think I talk too fast. Another thing I wanted to talk about, which kind of, again, relates to how you're showing up for yourself, is thinking about structure around how you do things. And for me, I'm really passionate about this. I think that, you know, I know that there are probably men on here, but there's a lot of feminine energy around structure. And we often don't think of that, I think, as women. And sometimes the hippies out there, or the small hippie part of us, will be like, no, I'm a hippie, so I go with the flow, and I don't like structure. I don't like to be bound to things. I like to be free. And to me, I think there's a feminine energy around structure that lets you have less of, what do I feel like doing today? My belief is the bigger the structure, the stronger the freedom for creativity. So when you don't have structure in your day, in your month, in your business, there's usually a lot of flitting around. There's usually a lot of like, oh, what do I feel like doing? I can't remember. Do I do customer care? Or maybe not. Maybe I'll call this person. Maybe I'll follow up. It takes away from the magic of having space and freedom to really be creative and really spend time on the things that are fun for you. So I really encourage you guys, like I said, the bigger the structure, the stronger the creativity. You know, find your structure, because like I said before, you know, we live in a world where focus is more important than intelligence, because people who know way less than you are doing so well because they've got focus. And I love what Belinda just said. If you reduce the amount of decisions you need to make in a day, it makes everything so much easier. And I literally have in my wardrobe, a little bit OCD, I have a section of t-shirts. I have my black yoga pants folded, and every day I take the first t-shirt out of my cupboard, I put it on, and I put on a pair of black yoga pants every single working day, right? If I'm going out, I'll try something on, but literally, like, you guys can't see, but I've got my yoga pants and my t-shirt, and this is me done, because it's removed a decision. I don't have to think about it. I know what days I wash my hair. I know all the basics so that I don't have to worry about it. And to me, that is such a big part of structure that makes life easier. I have the same smoothie every day. Every day. Like, literally, I don't change my breakfast, because to me, thinking, do I want to eat this, or do I want to eat that, or do I want to have oats, or do I want to make eggs? It's just too confusing for me. So I have the same smoothie every single day. Maybe it's boring, but it gives me freedom to show up at my workspace and have the time and the energy to create, to think up new concepts. Now, I love about this business that we have so much structure, but we also have so much room to really, I don't know, be free, try new things. You know, it's like Jess was saying on her last training, no one cares about your selfie from a year ago. The same way that if you do a post and it doesn't really work, no one cares. You know, no one's going to look back at it. I've done plenty of them. You know, I've done plenty of random posts. I did one where I was like, yeah, I'm in network marketing, so what? Because I was like angry one day. And people still come to me and they're like, what do you do? Because not many people see what we post anyway. And most people forget. You know, so don't let yourself get caught up in the fact that everything has to be a certain way. Give yourself the freedom to try new things, to be a little bit creative, you know, to step outside the box with the way you post or the way you talk to people. I have no idea who it was, but I remember one of my girls telling me that at 90 Day last year, she was speaking to an NMD who said she hangs out at Bunnings playground, like I think once a week, every week, hangs out at the playground and just like works her way through the mums, like goes and talks to one mum, asks about like what she does, if she's going back to work, goes to the next mum, does the same thing. And I was like, that's genius. You know what I mean? Like, how did she come up with that? That is genius. And, you know, it's things like that. It's those little ideas where you go, you know what, every Wednesday I'm heading to Bunnings Playground and I'm going to give my kids like an hour to play and I'm going to prospect. You know, it's those ideas, because, yeah, it was you, Kyla, yes. So, sorry, I always thought that was really smart and really funny. And I tell my team to do that now, so thank you for that. But I think that it's just so brilliant that, you know, we can have, you know, creativity in different ways, how we post, what we post, all of those bits and pieces. Michelle, if you don't have a kid, just go to the bank and, I don't know, wait for people to be like, damn, I got no money, and be like, I can maybe help you with that. No, don't do that. It's probably not allowed. But yeah, no, so back to my point is structure creates freedom. And so for all the feminine hippies out there who are like, I don't like structure, I want to do what I feel like doing, I really encourage you, even if just for 2 weeks, test out having a little bit of structure. You know, test out what it feels like to have a bit of a routine. And look, I have 2 kids. One of them is like crazy. She's aggressive. She hits me all the time. She hates when I'm on my computer. But there are times where I'm like, okay, this is the kind of structure I can have. I know that at night I can work on my business because she's asleep. Unless I get stuck under her, she often sleeps on top of me, in which case I make sure my phone's handy and I'll pump out a few posts or get something ready. I know that luckily for me, my husband's home, so he does the school drop off. And for me, that is like, I'm in my inbox, I'm doing my messages, I'm making sure that there's nothing I've missed before I get on calls, right? Because I can do calls with her here, can do calls with her in my arms, but when I need to really focus and don't want to miss things, that's my structure. So it's going to look different for everyone. Some of you are going to be doing this in 15-minute blocks between your work, but what if that kind of structure for you was on your lunch break, before you do anything, you spend 5 minutes replying to people on social media posts, or you spend 2 minutes adding new friends, or you spend a minute making a new post, whatever it might be, just having that little bit of structure so that you know that something is happening every single day. And one of my beautiful teamies, Vanessa, said to me, you know, I wake up early in the morning and I get all my 5 high-paying activities done before the kids wake up. And she's like, that way I know that anything extra I get to do during the day is awesome. She's like, it's extra. I just get up a bit early and I'll go to bed earlier if I need to, because I've done everything in the morning. And for people that can do that, that's awesome. My kids wake up at 4:30. So if I try and work, they're like not letting it happen. Peter said, are there any good apps out there to help with structure? I'm a scatterbrain Aquarius. I need structure. Guys, iCal. If you're an Apple person or a Mac person, iCalendar, everything in my life is like structured in there. And even from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., it's family time. So like I just schedule and block things out. Kira did an amazing training. She did a weekly time management training where I've got one up on my wall where she has like, you know, her schedule and her structure. I would highly encourage that you guys go and watch that training and look back at it. But, you know, I know that you guys are probably like me, and in this business, we can get totally overwhelmed. Just because I can see a lot of you, like hands up if you've ever been overwhelmed. Yes, yeah, so almost everyone except for you. Don't know what you're doing. I need what you've got. So if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel like you're doing too much, being too much, getting too in your own head, I want you guys to write this down. A breath of fresh air is a great thing to take and an even better thing to be. A breath of fresh air is a great thing to take and an even better thing to be. So I just want you guys to remember that. And guys, like I've just totally like gone through this training in 40 minutes. So please ask me any questions because I got nothing after this. But I did want to kind of finish on, you know, that if anything, be a breath of fresh air for people. And when you do feel overwhelmed, take a breath of fresh air. Just get outside. Just, you know, take time to remember. Another sort of saying that I've got on my vision board is, how could things be better? And I look at that all the time. I literally, like, it's there, it's in my phone, I have reminders pop up, it's on the fridge. How could things be better? And this works for me in 2 ways, and you guys can totally take it. I hope that it will work for you like it has for me. So when I'm here and I'm feeling overwhelmed and I'm not taking a breath of fresh air, and I'm definitely not being a breath of fresh air, I look up at that and I say, how could things be better right now? And if things could be better, if I could be better, just reading that lets me know immediately what I need to do. Whether it's clean up your desk, whether it's go and just sit with the kids and be present for a moment, whether it's eat something, whether it's take a sip of water, you know, whatever it is, having that up there, what could I do right now? How could things be better, right? I think about it. And then on the flip side as well, I read that when things are really good, you know, when my team are getting promotions, when people are just having their dreams come true. You know, last month, my best friend in this business, she made the same amount in the month that she used to make from her full-time job. And to me, it was like, I read on my board, how could things be better? And they couldn't. I was like, things could not be better right now. And it was such an amazing moment of gratitude for me, knowing that, you know, I got to be a part of it. I got to witness it. I got to feel it and experience it. And I think that, you know, if you guys can use that and use it to be productive in yourself when you're not being. You know, use it to kind of remind yourself of like, okay, I know I can be better. I know that the better version of me could be showing up right now. And then the second thing is also using it to really evoke gratitude from yourself. You know, how could things be better? When you're cuddling with your children and a little note pops up that says, how could things be better? And you're just like, they couldn't. Right now, things could not be better. I could not be happier when I'm cuddling with my kids. I could not be happier when I'm sitting at the dining table with my family talking about our day. You know, things could not be better. So they're probably my two main things that I read on my board is how could things be better and how can I show up as the best version of me? And those two things, you know, as much as, like I said, I would love to have jumped on this call and given you guys like the strategies and the secret sauce. And actually on that note, I remember when I started, I was like, gosh, I've got to get to NMD and then they're going to tell me how Brian did it. Like, I've got to do it because once I'm in, I'm in. And it's so annoying because he didn't have anything special. He had the same system we did. He did everything the same and there was no secret. I was waiting for the secret and there was no bloody secret. It was all the same stuff. So, you know, I think that, I don't even know where I was going with that. Bit scatterbrain again. I'm going to read and see if there's any stories, any other book or video recommendations. Oh my God, so much. What book really changed your life? So look, for me personally, I think that there's a book called The Code of the Extraordinary Mind by Vishen Lakhiani. I can probably spell that, but I probably can't as well. He has a great podcast. Just search his name, Vishen, Vishen. And Lakhiani, I don't know how to spell it. I only know it because of his podcast, The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. And he speaks about, he's got so much goodness in his book, in his content. He speaks about, you know, you want to think of your mind and your belief systems, your BS, as Scott Harris calls them, your BS belief systems, your BS. You know, you want to think to yourself, are you running belief systems from 1995? Are you running on Windows 95? You know, this guy used to work in Silicon Valley, so there's a lot of tech references, but are you working on an Apple but using Windows 95? And how is that showing up for you? And I realized that so much of what I was living off was definitely from my BS belief systems. I was maybe Windows 98, definitely not like Safari, Chrome. I don't know, they always use Tigers on Apples. I don't really know. But I was definitely not on the right system. You know, I had belief patterns that I didn't finish school, so I'm dumb. I never got good grades. You know, when I was in like the 7th grade, my math teacher told me, it's okay that you're not very smart because you're pretty. So for my whole life, I've been like, okay, well, you can be dumb as long as you look good. So, you know, don't worry about showing up with a brain. Just show up with your hair done and put some makeup on. And that was such a BS belief system. And so that for me was really impactful. Like reading that book when I did, it was just the perfect timing. And if you're hearing this now, then it's definitely the perfect timing for you to look into that book or at least listen to this podcast. You know, I just found it so impactful. And also asking yourself he calls them rules, which cover the small people's ears. Bullshit rules are you living off? So whose bullshit rules are you following? And he words it just so perfectly in the book where he really talks about, you know, how you were brought up and what the rules were and who made these rules and why on earth are you following them if they don't fit in with your values. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that book. I'm just going to keep looking if there's any questions. Thank you, Jenna and Emma, for typing in his name. Yeah, he's amazing. Jenna just put up one of his biggest and probably most popular phrases, which I won't sound here in case there's tiny ears listening. Working on DOS prompts still. I love it. I love it. Well, guys, look, I'm going to give you all an early mark. I'm sorry I didn't have more or longer value, but I definitely talk really fast. I suppose I put on my ADHD boss babe pants today and just blah, blah, blah. Thank you, Jody. But guys, have an awesome end of month. You know, if I can say one thing for you guys, this is like the week where magic happens. I don't know if you guys are feeling it, but like my team promotions are suddenly going off after a really slow month. I'm seeing all these people get to SDVF. I'm seeing, you know, all these new people come into the gang. Utilize this energy, guys. You know, collectively it is so much stronger. Like, really do what you've got to do to get whatever you need to get over the line. If you've got a promotion coming in, if you're going for a club level, do what it takes, because this is not meant to be easy, but the payoff is huge. I mean, we have Adam and Kira being flown to Canada. They're having the time of their life, all like expense paid by the company. We can all have that. It is available to every single one of us. So I would love it if you guys would all just come together, embrace what we get to feel as a collective team right now, and utilize that to do epic stuff. And we really can. Reach out to people, talk to people, help people, come from a really heart-centered place. Remember to be the best version of you, and take and be a breath of fresh air. I love you all. Thank you so much for listening and being here, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. Thanks.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Jess. You're amazing as always. Bye.
Bye.